I've reacted to some of the most dangerous Mr. Beast stunts, but how about we react to some of his biggest philanthropy medical videos? Let's get started. Beep-whoop.
In this video, we're curing 1,000 people's blindness.
A lot of people had issues with this video because they're talking about curing blindness and cataracts. So I guess let's define what cataracts are. Think about your eye as a camera, and the lens of your camera throughout time becomes very cloudy. And because of this cloudiness, these proteins that fill into this lens, it becomes very difficult to see. In fact, sometimes the color of the lens can even change, become a little bit yellow or brownish. So much so that when someone gets their cataracts treated, where they remove that lens and put an artificial lens in, they will see brighter colors in addition to improving their vision. But when you say curing someone's blindness, it can lead people to believe that they had other conditions where you wouldn't be able to just cure their blindness.
Oh. Wow.
She's just one of 1,000 blind people we helped from around the world.
They can't see, but we have all the technology to fix it.
Yep, half of all the blindness in the world is people who need a 10-minute surgery.
Crazy.
Just think about that fact, let it sink in. Half the people around the world who can't see just need a 10-minute surgery, and they don't have access. And honestly, people don't have access here in the United States. It's that bad. A little side note for me as a primary care doctor, something that slows down the process is people get sent to me for preoperative clearances. They want me to verify that the patient is healthy enough to undergo this very, very low risk 10-minute procedure, and therefore increase costs, ask for all sorts of testing that is not mandatory for a pre-surgical clearance for cataract. And as a result, increase costs, increase barriers, make it more difficult for patients to get care.
If you're wondering how the surgery allows people to see again, it's because the lens in their eye got so cloudy that they can't see through it. So the surgeon uses a tiny vacuum to suck up the clouded lens.
Whoa, it's sucking.
And replace it with an artificial one. The surgery is that simple. They can see again.
And it does require care after the fact. It's not just a 10-minute surgery and forget about it. And remember, a lot of these people had sight before, so it's not like they were born with congenital cataracts. At least that's my assumption of the elderly people in this video.
Jeremiah has been blind in his right eye since he was born.
Oh, well, there you go. That answers my question.
Because Jeremiah was born with cataracts, his right eye never received light. And that means that this surgery only has a 50% chance of working.
And my understanding is that even if it doesn't work right away, it would improve as time goes on.
How'd it go?
Good.
Yeah, are you excited?
Yeah.
Take your time, no pressure.
I love that Jimmy's wearing scrubs.
Everything looks so more clear.
Yeah. To make this day even more special, since you're about to graduate high school and go to college, we wanted to give you $50,000
that's
to put
awesome.
towards college.
Oh, don't rub your eyes. You just had a procedure done.
I didn't even think this was real. Like I'm waiting to wake up.
Oh my God. A lot of people saw that video as very self-congratulatory. To me, kids, adults, humans are getting helped. Our healthcare system is failing them. The fact that a YouTuber has to help them is disgusting, honestly. But the fact that this philanthropy channel is able to fund itself through its success through the videos by making the videos more dramatic, leaning into the watchability of those videos, allows more people to get help. I'm not really gonna get mad at that. I just think that ultimately it's a net positive for society. But at the same time, you're allowed to be upset about it and feel whatever type of way. So I think there's room for all sides in this conversation.
What if I told you we could turn this shipping container into a life-saving medical clinic?
That would be interesting, and I would maybe consider getting one here.
We're gonna send 5 unique clinics to medical deserts around the world,
Wow.
where getting to a doctor just isn't realistic.
This is the problem with healthcare in our country. We've made such phenomenal strides in terms of breakthroughs for acute illness. And that has actually created another problem in that now we have a lot of chronic illness in this country. And because of our wealth and some societal habits that we've developed, eating, staying indoors, not moving around enough, spending too much time on our devices, not being in third spaces enough, we have created more of these chronic health problems. And as a result, we put a tremendous strain on our healthcare system, and therefore people don't have access. And then costs are extremely high. So we're this unique combination of this wealthy nation that is one of the richest nations of the world that spends the most on healthcare research and healthcare improvements, and yet we don't have the best healthcare outcomes because people can't get to see their doctor, there's not enough doctors, and the costs are astronomical.
Each one of these clinics is custom built to serve the community they will go to. And what's crazy is that these clinics have been built entirely by college students. And since build started in 2013, these students have deployed 60 clinics in 24 countries.
Wow, 60 clinics in 24 countries. I mean, you hear the number 60 and you think, oh, 60, that's not so much. Remember, dozens, hundreds of people can use those clinics. I hope there's also gonna be supplies here as well, not just a physical location where people can be seen.
Our fourth clinic is going to a coastal community far from healthcare access in Kenya, where it'll help treat a common condition called clubfoot.
This is clubfoot.
Oh, clubfoot.
If this is untreated, imagine trying to walk through the villages of Africa.
So people do walk, as you can tell on this clip, through the villages of Africa and many countries across the world. And it's actually terrible because there is an evidence-based treatment for this. There's actually a very simple casting approach that we do in children that over the course of weeks, we can actually mold their foot and help fix these tight tissues. And usually by the age of 5, most children will have a completely normal foot.
Every week we see about 10 to 15 patients born with this correctable disability.
It's such a correctable disability. 90+% success rate if using this method.
Healing clubfoot is actually a pretty simple non-surgical procedure,
Sometimes it's surgical, it's an important distinction.
where a doctor gently repositions the foot a little more each week, using a series of casts gradually correcting the deformity. And by the time the child is able to walk, you would never even guess they were born with clubfoot.
Yeah, so they would wear orthotics, bracing, especially during naps. Remember, a lot of growth happens in the first year of life, and that continues for the next few years of life.
We are super excited. This is going to allow us to double our impact.
This clinic will eliminate the next generation of children who are born with clubfoot. Just like Amani's son Joel, who has been through the Hope Walks program and can now live his life like any other child.
Kids with disabilities face a lot of shame and stigma.
Stigma, shame, all those are absolute problems, but it's the functionality that is so important. The ability to be independent, to provide for one's family, especially in a resource-poor area, that is of utmost importance.
For most of you watching, your childhood probably looks similar to mine. But kids like Mac spent theirs fighting for their life. However, to celebrate completing his cancer treatment,
By the way, we did a huge Make-A-Wish YouTuber event that Jimmy hosted where all of these kids came out, all their favorite YouTubers came out, and they used their wish to basically just go hang out. I had a blast. I got a Jedi lightsaber. We made our own with our own materials. It was a very fun time. We took a lot of photos. And I met my hero that night, Mike Wazowski, because I am Mike Warshawski.
If you could have one wish for anything in life, what would it be?
Skiing.
And we're here!
Is this the American Dream Mall?
The day that we got the diagnosis, Matt grabbed my hand. He said, "Mom, this might be hard, but I'm gonna be okay."
You did it!
Kids are so resilient and brave. I love to see it.
and that was just the first of 100 wishes not just I, but we will be granting in this video. The world's biggest creators, chart-topping musicians, award-winning actors, legendary athletes like LeBron James,
I love how he was on Ben Roethlisberger and then said, legendary athletes like LeBron James. Edit out, Ben.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
LeBron James.
And after traveling all around the world, our biggest wisher wanted to be anonymous. And he asked,
that we help other cancer patients,
which is exactly what we're doing with a massive blood drive.
Yeah, donating blood. As you've seen in my videos, whether it's talking about rare blood types or the fact that your blood is really yellow, at least more yellow than red, I'm very passionate about blood donation.
Can you explain what we're doing right now?
You may have seen some scrubs you recognize in that fast-paced motion.
Giving blood, red blood cells and white blood cells to help patients who need it.
Obviously, everyone here is giving blood to save lives, but they're probably wondering, how does this save lives?
When they give you treatments for cancer, sometimes it kills your blood cells.
Not only that, some cancers also kill your blood cells. And if you get into an accident, if you have a burn, I'm talking about the basic traumas, you may need a blood transfusion, and that is only made possible with this, blood donations.
Every year, 400,000 kids worldwide get cancer.
Not 400,000 people, 400,000 kids.
Kids.
Every time you give blood, up to 3 lives could be being impacted. We say saved, and perhaps it's a little bit overgeneralizing, but it's true. You can be a lifesaver just by donating blood.
Only 2 to 3% of eligible adults actually donate blood.
Just think about how incredible that is. 100% of people that can donate blood, only 2% donate.
And it's because of them, we've received enough blood to save 1,000 lives.
Obviously, if you can't donate money, donating blood is an amazing step.
That's a crazy line. If you can't donate money, you can donate blood.
Yeah, look, everyone looks up to Mr. Beast, Jimmy, the fact that he has all this money to give away because his channels are successful. But you have something very valuable as well. You can donate blood. It was actually really cool to be on scene to see this. All these motivated individuals, not only the people donating, but the people working, donating their time, showing up in order to work as phlebotomists, as nurses, as aides, organizers, security. I mean, it was incredible how many people were there at this event.
Every year, over 200,000 children are born without the ability to smile and, even worse, breathe properly.
If this is about cleft lips or cleft palates, and he says they're not able to smile, I have to push back on that one. A child with a cleft lip, cleft palate can absolutely smile.
99% of people are born like this, with a full ability to breathe through their nasal airway passage.
Nasal and oral.
The other 1% look like this, with a cleft lip or palate, which makes life terribly difficult.
Yeah, it makes it difficult because the upper portion of the palate, if it's not formed fully, it actually has an important use for babies. That's how they create that sucking sensation. That's how they're able to feed. So feeding becomes more difficult. Choking happens more frequently. Infection risk goes up. And a lot of people don't realize this. There's a little tube that connects to your ears that's kind of in the middle of your face, just above the upper palate. That eustachian tube can also be impacted when someone has a cleft palate, and as a result, increase the amount of ear infections that those children get. There's just stacking risks from people who do have these at an early age, when the surgery to treat them is very available. It's just not available globally.
One of these patients is Emmanuel. 17 months ago, he was born with a bilateral cleft palate. He is the son of Geronimo, a single father who lives in the rural mountains of Chiapas.
I struggle with the word rural as well. So Jimmy, I feel you on that one.
Emmanuel's surgery is now complete, and this will be the first time Geronimo will ever see his son smile.
One of my favorite moments in a surgical program, it's when the kid comes out of surgery, because this is the first time that the parents are going to see the kids with the surgery. It's just such an emotional moment, because you change the life, not only of the patient, but the family and the society.
Yeah, it's a huge win. It's gonna greatly improve the life of this child. But again, treatment doesn't end there. We need to continue that interdisciplinary support to make sure the child continues growing up, feeding, breathing, speaking well.
Operation Smile also provides all of their patients with free speech and vocal therapy.
I love to hear that, because that means there's continuity of care, not just one of these surgeries in and out. Sometimes surgical complications can happen. Children still struggle with swallowing, with speaking. So it's great that they have that continuity aspect.
In this video, we are going to give 1,000 life-changing surgeries to people in need. And it starts with Shadrach, who's waited years for a thyroid surgery that he couldn't afford, which held him back from achieving his dreams.
I have a problem here. This side is not working normal.
Thyroid conditions are very interesting, because sometimes you'll have growths or nodules on your thyroid, which are considered hot, where they secrete extra thyroid hormone. Sometimes they don't, and it's just a mass effect that it's causing onto that area, or some malignant cancer that ends up spreading, metastasizing through different parts of your body. So I need to know more information about what this mass actually is.
We brought in some of the best doctors in Kenya to handle his surgery. How do you feel?
I'm feeling well, I'm doing well.
You used to have a headache every day, and now after the operation, the headache's gone.
I feel great about it.
That's amazing. I wonder if the headache was coming as a result of some kind of cervical musculoskeletal pathology, where the tumor was putting mass effect on some of the muscles that go up to the neck that lead and create a tension headache. You could also have cervical radiculopathy, where certain nerves that come out in between the vertebrae of the spine and then give sensation to the arms. Not sure if he's having those symptoms. And you know, something that I think about, in Jimmy getting all this negative feedback, I don't want it to come off like I'm defending Jimmy all day long, but I think it warrants defense here, because some people get turned off by this style of video. I don't think that there's ever been a charity that, or a nonprofit or NGO that I've worked with that didn't already make content like this that you just haven't seen, or they wish their content was as good as this, as effective as this in gaining viewership so that they're able to help more people. I mean, I went to El Salvador and spent weeks in El Salvador with AmeriCares, visiting clinics, trying to deliver care, learning about what they're doing well, what improvements I could suggest from my experience, even though that was minimal. I learned more than I actually gave. Everyone would want to make content like this. Like, this is content where everybody wins.
This is Dr. Shagun, founder of Hospitals for Humanity and the Saving Little Hearts program. They are on a mission to provide life-saving surgeries to children in Nigeria who suffer from heart disease.
I'm assuming this is congenital heart disease, where children are born with some kind of anomaly of their heart, whether that's a valve, an opening, a blockage.
The current sole purpose of Hospitals for Humanity is to treat as many children with congenital heart disease as possible. Heart disease stems from strep throat, and then that child will now have to have some type of surgery. And unfortunately, children in Africa, they're just not getting the level of care that other children around the world are getting.
This actually reminds me of some of the work that I did with Save a Child's Heart Foundation. They helped so many people when I was visiting their facility, people from Palestine, from Africa. All they wanted to do was heal as many children's hearts as possible, and it was incredibly moving.
We decided to help Dr. Shagun and Hospitals for Humanity save 100 children's hearts, which include conducting open heart surgeries, device closures, cardiac catheterizations, and screenings for CHD.
I'm glad he pointed that out, because saving a child's heart doesn't necessarily always mean open heart surgery. Now we have these cardiac cath procedures where we can go in through the blood vessel and sometimes create some sort of impact that way, where we don't have to create a full opening in the chest.
A 13-year-old boy is brought into the operating room for his open heart surgery. His name is Marvelous.
The child we are operating on today, he has a congenital heart defect. That means he has a hole in his heart and the blood flow to his lungs is narrowed.
Yeah, so sometimes children are born with quite literally holes in their heart. Usually these holes should close on their own. Sometimes we don't even realize that children have holes or defects of their heart because they're born presenting normal. And then only as time goes on that we start seeing that they're turning blue and hypoxic because they're not receiving enough oxygenation.
My name is Mrs. Rose. Marvelous is the only son that I have. I'm having a little doubt. But that little boy will say, no, mommy, I'll be okay, don't worry.
Children will oftentimes get very sick very fast. And then the flip side, once they look really sick, the next day, if you get them on the right track, they can recover and spring up and be running around across the room asking about the supporting paws program. When's the doggy gonna come visit me?
After some time, Marvelous's operation was completed, but something wasn't right, and he was rushed to the intensive care unit.
When you, quote unquote, save a child's heart, it's not just you operate and you save the child's heart. There's post-operative care, there's complications, sometimes requiring multiple surgeries. And these surgeries might not just be in year 1, 2, 3, 4. They can happen at age 18 even, because of the specific type of congenital deformity that they may have.
So this morning when we met with the doctors, they actually said that his operation ended up being a lot more complicated than expected, and they were actually quite concerned that he wouldn't make it. This morning, we visited him in ICU, and you could just see how speedy his recovery had been and how quickly he'd bounced back.
I want to thank you people for what you're doing for Shukra, helping them to do what they want and desire in life.
After some time in the hospital, he will be able to live a better life as his lungs now receive the required oxygen needed in order for his heart to function properly.
The lungs get the oxygen, deliver it to the rest of the body, and that's how everything keeps moving. And those bubbles, those look like fun. It's actually a trick to get kids to move air in their lungs successfully. I mentioned earlier in this video that I went to El Salvador and we filmed a YouTube video. I don't think enough people have seen it because it was about 10 years ago. That's how long we've been practicing medicine. Kind of unbelievable, but click here to check that out. I know you'll enjoy it. El Salvadorian people are the most beautiful people. They deserve better healthcare, and as always, stay happy and healthy.